Holy crap, that was awesome!
The lasers, cause I like sci-fi. The dude is cause I am a rat guy. 99 is cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm lazy 99. I am a Batman fan, and I'm a Canadian man. I do top 10 lists, and I eat ketchup chips. Oh, it's freezing time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. I'm talking about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review.
Hey everybody, I'm Lazy99 and welcome to my review of The Avengers, starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Hemsworth, and Jeremy Renner. Wow. Directed by Joss Whedon. Now guys, this movie was awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go into it. Don't worry, I'm not just gonna say that through the whole time. I'm gonna explain why it's awesome. But this is a very, very fun movie. Okay, so the story. This is what the story is. You ready? Okay, here we go. So the story is about Loki, who has got this thing called I forget what it's called, the cube that was used by Red Skull in Captain America. So Loki comes to Earth with it, and with this weird scepter from forces unknown. We don't know where he got the scepter or what he's been doing since he dropped, in Thor. But he comes here and he's all like, "You are a bunch of ants, and I'm going to step on you." The guy who does Loki does a really good job with him in here. He's both menacing, but he's also really funny. And so then Nick Fury, played of course by Samuel L. Jackson, puts in the Avengers initiative together, where they gather a whole bunch of strange individuals and powerful individuals together as a team. So we have Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Thor, and I think that's all of them. So we got a really great cast of characters that are the Avengers. And the thing that I was worried about when I went into this film, is it was just gonna be a slugfest. But no, it does take time to have character arcs for each character. Not saying that each character is a really deep character arc that it's going to make you think or whatnot, because they couldn't have time to do that with every character. But every character does have a character arc they go through. In this movie, there's all these strong individuals and all their personalities. They're going to clash a few times. In fact, I think they fight each other more times than they fight the bad guys, I think. And speaking of the fights, they are incredible. I mean, they're so well done. And it's not just fights for the sake of just them fighting. There's so many cool moments where you're just like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, man, that's cool. Holy shoot, that's cool." You just want to say, but it just keeps on going. And there's this one shot, amazing shot. I just need to clap my hand to this shot, where it starts with just Iron Man and Captain America fighting. Then Iron Man flies up, and it'll go flying up, and then you see Hawkeye shooting arrows. And then it goes from Hawkeye to Thor and Hulk, and then it goes from Thor and Hulk to Black Widow. And it flies all around this one continuous shot to every single Avenger, and it was an amazing shot. It was great. So, the big thing that's kind of hanging over everyone's head is Mark Ruffalo good as Bruce Banner. Well, here's the thing. The thing that I thought about Mark Ruffalo, while I wasn't crazy about it, was I didn't think he could kind of be intimidating. And I think that you need the Hulk to kind of be intimidating, you know? That the Bruce Banner kind of feels a little bit unstable and that you're kind of a little on edge around him. But here's the thing. Mark Ruffalo does a really good job with this. He does. Because he portrays Bruce Banner so quirky and so, strange, and that whenever he starts talking a little louder, everyone just takes a step back, and, all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents start to go in for their guns. And there was one moment in the film where he just yelled, and it made me jump. It made me jump out of my seat, because he's very intimidating as that, but in the Hulk scenes are incredible. Him hulking out on everything, they're hilarious, but they're also awesome, and they're also kind of menacing at times. It's funny, I was in a theater with, and there's this little kid behind me, a little girl, and then when the scene where when Bruce Banner is turning the Hulk, the Black Widow is kind of pinned right in front of him, these little girls behind me say, "No, Hulk, don't hurt her. She's a good guy. No, Hulk, no." I'm just laughing my head off because throughout the entire film she was doing stuff like that. Every character in here, though, has a really well executed character arc. The only thing that I might be was a little disappointed in is that throughout most of the film, Hawkeye was mind controlled, so he wasn't really Hawkeye. He was doing other stuff that he he was mind controlled, and I didn't really like that he was mind controlled, but I wasn't too bothered by it because it wasn't like Cyclops in X2 where his mind was mind controlled and he ended up never doing anything in the film. He still ends up doing lots of great and important things in the movie. Just so happens that a portion of it he was mind controlled, so oh well. Scarlett Johansson, I preferred her in here as Black Widow than in the other ones. She's like a master manipulator, and I just love how they played that up. This movie, you just don't want to end. I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, no, don't stop, keep going. You're doing great. Just keep going, guys. I'm okay with it. But, of course, it has to end eventually. But, you're just like, oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, that's the thing about this movie. It is awesome. Now, it has some of the it has probably one of the best superhero fight scenes in movie history. The thing that, there's only a couple things that I really have slight problems with. Nothing big. Just slight itty bitty problems. Like, just one thing is, Thor, not that Thor was underused, but we don't really get into his head, how he is feeling. We get into Iron Man's head, and we get into Captain America's, but we don't really get as much into Thor's head as much as I would have liked. But every character in here has great character moments and great action moments, and it's really important that you have both. Because, if you just have great action moments but no real character moments in there, you won't really feel anything for these characters. But since they do have great character moments and great action moments, we care for them in the action moments when the intensity is built up. But let me just say right here, guys, this movie is hilarious. Okay? I don't think I've ever laughed this hard in an action film ever. Period. I mean, there are times where I just laugh so hard, it hurt. I was like, oh, stop, I'm just laughing so hard. And mostly with the Hulk. One scene with Hulk and Loki, and one scene with Hulk and Thor. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Both of those, hilarious. Just, they're funny. This movie is already set up for a sequel. I mean, I would tell you to stay after the credits for the special thing at the end, but come on, you already know to stay after the credits. It's a Marvel movie. The day they stop showing extra stuff after the credits will be the day I'll just be like, no way. Anyway. and there's a big surprise there. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not spoiling any big part of the story. At least not that much. Let me just say, guys, this has set the bar pretty high for this year's movies. Because it was immensely entertaining. We got to see the helicarrier! The helicarrier! Oh man, I heard that it might be in there, but it's in there and it's so awesome! So awesomely weird and cool, and I love the helicarrier to death. It's so awesome. The Hulk is well handled. The Captain America is well handled. His interactions with Iron Man is well handled. Robert Downey Jr. makes me crack up more than almost any other actor I've ever known. I've never laughed so hard as I said, and it's just. But we also get great character moments for Iron Man as well, and then we get great interactions with the Hulk and Bruce Banner. We do get a good bond. Not exactly bond, but we do get a great conflict between Thor and how he feels about his brother and his brother doing all these things. You know, there's a part in it where he's like, "We were brothers. We played together. We fought together. How can you do this?" You know, sort of thing, and that's very powerful in this movie too. Hawkeye and Black Widow, both of them are handled very well. And the entire interactions throughout this film, all the characters interact with each other very well. The story is very strong, and you know what? Joss Whedon did an amazing job. This movie will win Best Visual Effects, because I'm still rooting for The Dark Knight, but The Dark Knight Rises, I should say. But let's be honest, The Dark Knight Rises isn't going to have as much special effects as this one is. And even if it does, they're not going to be as flashy or as, big as this movie. So this movie is going to win Best Visual Effects in Oscar season. But anyway, I digress. The Avengers movie is a must-see of the year. You guys need to see this. Enjoy it. Have fun. And I am going to give it a 8.5 out of 10. So remember, guys, I'm LazyDude99, and if I don't like it, it's not worth it. See you around.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.
Avengers Assemble!